welcome to NT Quest. Today we're going to be reviewing the Haloview wireless backup camera. And wait, before you think you don't need one of these, this does a lot more than you think it's going to do. Stay tuned and watch this. Thanks. So we've just received this. It's still in its plastic wrap, so we're going to open it up with you right here and let's see what we have. Sent to us by Haloview. I'm excited to see this. Now we're going to be installing this on our Airstream, and anybody that's followed an Airstream forum or anything like that have seen lots of people with dents in the back and the upper top of their Airstream. I search for old trailers all the time. It is almost the #1 spot where you're going to find a dent is on the upside of the back curve panel. They always hit a low-hanging branch. This is obviously going to eliminate that, but it's going to do so much more for you. There we have our manual. Nice piece of foam over top. Great piece, nicely packaged. And there we have our monitor. Now, we ordered the one with the 5-inch monitor. Just so you know, they do come in a 7-inch monitor as well. So if you have a little bit more room up on your dashboard and you need a bigger monitor, that's available for you. We've got our antennas by the looks of it. Those are all in there. And there is the camera itself. Look at that. Great little size. It's not going to be too obtrusive back there. And we also have a suction cup. Okay, if you want to mount it up on the windshield. So anyway, that's how it comes in the box. Good heavy duty box, lots of padding for everything. Got a protective cover over the front of the camera there. This is wireless, so I don't have to run a wire all the way from my monitor all the way back to the camera. I just have to wire both of them into power, and it's going to pick it up wirelessly through these antennas. Now, another thing I've just noticed, this is the camera, of course, and you can angle it, and there is some adapters here for your brackets. So you have a sun shield, which is very handy in case you've got the sunshine coming in sideways, so that can fit on there. And we have a mounting bracket if you want it hard mounted. We have a suction cup bracket if you want to go that route. And we even have where you can plug into a cigarette lighter, so it doesn't necessarily have to be hardwired in the front. You know, we all have various things we like to plug in, and most of the new vehicles, of course, come with a old lighter jack, and that's probably how I'm going to do it. And I may mount it with the suction cup and with the lighter. We'll see how that goes. We will hardwire the camera in. But this is something I wasn't aware of until it just came now. A license plate bracket. So this way I could actually mount it if I don't want to put any holes into my Airstream. I could mount it back there right on my license plate, and it would be aiming right out back of the trailer. Not a bad idea. We'll see how we like that idea when we get back there. I do like the idea of having it up a little higher. Just give you a better, broader angle of view there so you can see a little bit more. Because one thing I would like to use this for as well is a little bit of a surveillance camera, so I can see what's going on behind the trailer. And I can move this. With the old Airstreams, I have plugs inside there that take this exact old cigarette lighter jack. So I could actually take this out of my truck, which is why I want to mount it this way rather than hard mount it, and I could take it inside the trailer with me, and I can still look outside my trailer. So I could be inside, I hear a noise, maybe I'm in a really rustic boondocking spot where there's grizzly bears or some wild animals. It'd be kind of nice to see if anything's moving around your trailer before you actually get out. And all you'd have to do is click on the monitor and you'd see everything behind your trailer. You hear a noise, you can look from the inside without having to go outside. So lots of advantages, and there's a lot more coming up. So at the end, we're going to give you a load of ideas that you might never have thought of for a backup camera before. Thanks very much for watching part 1. Part 2 is going to be installation, and then we're going to review exactly how well we think it works. Thanks very much. We're going to work on installing the Haloview camera. Now, we did try to put it on the license plate, but the problem with that is that it was kind of going in and out, but I think it would have went in with a really good solid connection. I was just doing a fairly weak connection. I was just kind of hanging these on the posts and seeing if it would come in, but I did want it up higher, and so ultimately it looks like I'm going to drill a hole in the Airstream. Not always my favorite thing to do, especially with trailers that leak and whatnot, but I'll show you where I'm going to do it. In the bathroom here, I pulled out this light fixture. I've got all these wires, and we can actually drill. I can reach out and touch the outer skin there. So I've got lots of wires here to tie into, power wires, and I got lots of room to tuck it back there when I'm done. So the idea is to drill right out there, find where my pilot hole is, and have the rear view camera up a lot higher, which is where I want it rather than on the license plate. I want to be watching for tree branches hitting the upper corners of the Airstream as well as the back. So that's my plan, and I guess we're just gonna go right ahead and do it. Now that's probably gonna put it right where my numbers are, but honestly that's okay with me. It's, you know, the old Wally Buying Club numbers. Nothing I'm too worried about. At least it's right in the dead center. So yeah, I'm guessing it's probably gonna come out right around here, right in the middle of the 8, which is actually a good spot for it. Be protected from wind or branches coming off this way, and it'll give me a nice angle of view, and I don't have to change up any of my lights because I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to have all those. So, well, how do you like that? The hole is actually way up there, which is actually a perfectly great spot too, and it didn't get in the way of the old ghost numbers. Okay, now we have to turn that into a rather big hole, which is a bit of a bummer, but okay, let's see where we go from here. Okay, point of no return. This is a honking big bit. That is a big hole. I have a real jerry-rigged system here. I just want to see if it's going to be able to sync up before I go any further. Although, like I said, it was starting to work that way down on the license plate, so I'll just flip that antenna up. And it's going to be much higher than that anyway. It just won't stay up there right now. I could tape it, I guess, but okay, so major pain getting this rubber seal in there. You know, it might work well if you're putting it in here when you have the bracket off, because you can manipulate it from both sides. But when you're trying to get it into a flexing aluminum trailer, there was no way. So I had to trim the bottom lip. So it's gonna have to get covered in caulking. I got the whole top of the lip managed to tuck in underneath, but I had to trim it away underneath to get it in there. I just couldn't get it in no matter what I tried. So it could do with being a little bit smaller. It doesn't need to be quite that tight. So anyway, I'll find me some butyl tape and get this camera mounted up where I want it, and then we'll work on the wiring inside later. But I like to get this dry and sealed up as soon as possible. Put some caulking around the outside of that rubber seal, and again, my favorite Trempro 635. See if I remember. I'll put you a link down below for it. You can't get enough of this stuff if you got an Airstream. And I'm just going to put some clear silicone in that center part. Okay, there it is. I started with a rivet, and then I went to sheet metal screws, which I prefer. It's on there rock solid. It's pretty much aimed how I want it, which is pretty much as far as it extends, but the Airstream curves that way, so you know, you might have wanted it a little more tilt, but so you can see down there, but we're always going to have somebody outside, so really I just want to see behind me. So we'll see what that looks like inside. And I'm going to run some more Trempro caulking around there over the heads of the screws and whatnot, and I don't think that's leaking at all, and shouldn't be in the way at all. And inside I might adjust the wiring, but down here, I mean, you barely even would notice it. So it's above the number, which is great, and wasn't too bad once I figured out where it was going and that I was really willing to drill a hole in my Airstream. But should be quite a good useful tool to save those upper corners in low tree areas, campgrounds with a lot of branches, which is where I like to be. Okay, so we'll have a look and see how it syncs up over here now. Oh, light in the window, I shouldn't have left it there. Still only 2 bars. It was giving me a really nice clean picture, and the detail on a lot of the leaves and stuff is phenomenal. Now, would I back into something? Good question. Not if I'm watching as I'm backing up. So I probably put mine up a little too high. Maybe you want to bring yours down a little bit. But I won't be backing into any tree branches, that's for sure. So we'll go through the whole testing later after I rewire it inside, because right now I'm just wired into the bathroom light, and I actually have to have the light on for the camera to get power. So we're going to get that wired in before the switch, so it's always got power, and all I need to do is power from up here. Alright, so what we're going to do is install this little on-off toggle switch, and we're going to cut into the wire for the fan, and it's in here. There's not a lot of room in here, and I've got a big light in here to try and show you, but right there is our little black wire coming through. We're going to tie into the power on the yellow, and then we're just going to have that little toggle switch right there so we can reach in and flip it on when we're traveling, and whenever we want the camera on. So we've already checked this with our meter to make sure it's a decent switch, because most of these came from my dad when he worked for British Leyland a long time ago. So I still have them, so I make good use of them. Yeah, made in England. So after considerable contortions in the closet, and if you're not 6'4", you might have some success. I did not. So I've decided to do this wiring out here, because the last thing I want to do is drop one of those little screws down there, and they wouldn't fit without them coming right out. So, and then we're just going to use morettes and tie it together that way. But yeah, that was no fun. I'm pulled muscles I didn't even know I had, so we're going to go the easy route now. The sunlight is not letting me record for you, so let's see if I can go over here and get us in the shade a little bit. Pretty great picture. Quite happy with that. It's really clear. Now I am going to adjust some things. So if I go into menu, volume, We'll bring that down. So you just have to say okay. I don't need it not loud at all. Okay, now we can adjust the picture here too. You hear that truck going by. So if we want it a little brighter, actually I quite like the brightness. I think I'm going to change the contrast and go down a little bit more because it's pretty contrasty. Alright, so you can flip it around. If this hangs the opposite direction, you can reverse it on mirror. You can mount it. We've just got it mounted on the suction cup. There's my parking lines, which are pretty neat, pretty handy. The trick here is the reflection, trying to show you how well this is working. But we're gonna back the Airstream. Right there is my store, and beside it is a big old maple tree. Now we've trimmed some branches off, and my buddy here in a fifth wheel has hit my eaves trough once because it's just really hard to straighten out and see. So we're gonna show you how good it works with that camera, but I'm afraid I'm gonna have to hold it back here while I drive. I'll try and get you closer when we get there. Wow, this is strange for me, trusting in a camera. I know I'm much more use of my mirrors kind of guy, but really, boy, that camera's working awesome. Now, like, look at that, it's showing me my driveway directly behind the Airstream. I mean, my mirrors over here, they're just really showing me the wheel. And over here, oh man, I don't know if you can see that, it just shows me the store. You have no idea where the eaves trough or anything is, so you just sort of do it by you know, practice of doing it all these years. I've got 3 different trailers I'm always backing up, but that is actually wonderful. I can see that I'm angling around and not going to hit the store, which is really neat actually. I am a little close to that, but boy, oh boy, does that ever make things easier. Except I just turned the wrong way because I'm I'm looking at something else. Alright, you do have to get used to watching it on a monitor, so you still need your mirrors, especially to figure out what angle you're going. It's the same idea as when you are backing up and you use half mirrors and half turning around, it messes you up. So, but I think all in all, that's just a third eye for you to check what's directly behind you. Yeah, that worked out great. Now I'm just going to straighten it out, which I always do here because it is narrow. Let's see if I can't zoom that in so you can see later. But I don't know if you can see the eaves trough there. So we're right beside that, and I'll get out of the truck and show you. So this is us pulling in beside here. There's exactly where my buddy hit. So there's not a lot of room here. I mean, you know, we can reach across with one arm. So it's not a lot of room, especially when you're angling in. And our tree is right there. Same thing, your wheels are pretty close to the rock. Got a big branch up there. But boy, that camera sure helped out quite a bit. So I'm pretty happy with that. And so easy to get the trailer in there, but just never something I thought I would like, but you know, that extra visual that you don't get when you're in a trailer, which is directly behind you. You know, kids, dogs, fallen limbs when you're backing into spots. You know, and this thing will record, so you can record out there. You can hear somebody if they're behind you, if you're gonna turn that volume up. So if you've got your wife back there kind of helping you out and telling you what's what in case there's something you can't see, she can talk to you and you'll hear it right through here, so you don't have to be yelling back and forth out the windows and having everybody else in the trailer park watching the show. So there's just a ton of advantages, and I'm sure I'm going to discover a lot more as I use this thing, because like I said, it is not something I thought I would want, especially when you're talking about putting a hole in your Airstream. And really the installation was simple. We had Hurricane Dorian come in just the other day after I'd installed it, and there's not a single bit of water got in there, and we had just crazy rain and winds here. So I mean, whoa, nervous with them big trees heading right for my Airstream. Already lost a good chunk of the roof off the greenhouse. Can't really see it because it's behind that plant. Absolutely tons of branches out of my nice big tree here. Tons out the back. But there's my poor Airstream sitting right there. Ay, ay, ay. The only reason I can stand here is because the house is blocking the wind for me. Oh my goodness. If a hurricane doesn't make it leak, I'm not worrying at all about it. So it looks good up there, not a problem. I'm just going to go for a little drive down the road and see what it's like when I get somebody behind me. Now this is what I was really hoping for, and I'm really excited because on the old Airstreams we have these cigarette lighter jacks, and this is what I was counting on, is that I can run this camera. So once I'm at the trailer park, I can bring this in with me. So what's the advantage of that? Well, I can see what's going on behind my trailer, which is kind of neat. It has a night vision, which I hope to show you later this evening. But the advantage is I can see what's going on back there. So if, let's say I'm camping in the Grand Tetons, you know, and we're dealing with large bull moose and possibility of grizzlies and that sort of thing. And you know, they do like to frequent campsites where there's food, big black bears, that kind of thing. Well, I can kind of scan around, look out the front and the sides of my trailer, but this kind of nice. I can record if I want to, so if there is wildlife I might get some neat little recordings. But I can see what's going on. Maybe I'm at a Walmart overnight and there's a commotion in the parking lot behind me, so rather than, you know, making yourself exposed, sticking your face out the window, you can just check on the camera first. So I just think it's kind of neat. You know, I'll be laying here in bed in the front of the trailer, and if I want to I can click it on and see what that noise was behind. You know, if you're in a storm you might want to be watching if things are flying around out there. There's just a lot. You know, I've only touched the surface of what you could possibly do, but you know, I can mount that on the window there for that matter. And it's like a little monitor with the suction cup from the truck. So just another advantage, another tool to use. Might be kind of fun. You know, you could watch some animals moving around without scaring them off. So just another great idea, and I'm really glad this worked out. And it has an on-off button right here. So there you go, and you're off again. So so far really happy with this. It's a great little tool, and for the money, I mean, you can't go wrong. For the amount of money you spend on this, it's going to pay for itself in uses right away. Okay, so in review of our Haloview backup camera, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I mean, this thing shocked me. First of all, the quality. The quality is fantastic. Everything's built solid. It doesn't feel cheap. It's just a really good piece of electronic. Secondly, they give you a lot of different options with how you want to mount it, and they give you all the hardware to do it whichever way suits you best, which is really great. It's not where you have to order extra things because you want to do it this way or that way. All the options were available to me right out of the box. It's going to work out perfectly for me using the cigarette lighter adapter with a nice on-off switch on it as well, because then I can move it from the truck to the trailer like I showed you in the video, which was a really big thing for me. And a lot of the older trailers, a lot of the Airstreams have these jacks in them. So if you want to use the camera monitor inside and monitor what's going on outside, you get that option, and nothing has to be rewired. You just simply move it from the truck to the trailer. Great option. Ease of installation wasn't bad at all. Every Airstream I've seen has a light back there. You take that out and you can feel your way to the outer skin. You don't have to worry about drilling through wires or pipes or anything like that. And for those of you that didn't want to do it that way, there is the license plate bracket, and you can mount it that way. Again, all came with it, so the option's up to you. You can change it out as you go. How it worked, how it paired, you know, for ease of installation, I'm going to say, you know, 8 out of 10. It really wasn't that difficult. It's just a really basic little simple wiring that you have to do to the camera side, and other than that, it's about as easy as it gets. So the biggest drawback, it's not really a drawback, but the biggest hurdle, let's say, to get over was actually drilling a hole into the Airstream. And it's going to be like that for a lot of people. Just that initial drilling through your outer skin always makes you a little bit nervous, but they do have a grommet. Now, in the video I trimmed ours down. Realistically, if I'd used the right size drill bit and made a little bigger hole that they were probably telling me I should, it might have gone in there, but it's hard with a flexing body like the Airstream has. We ran through Hurricane Dorian, didn't get any water in where I mounted it, so I'm not worried about it in the least. It's really easy to change the caulking out once a year, once every 2 years, just around the top there. So that's not a worry. If anything, I would have brought it down a little more. So instead of drilling up like that, I might have drilled like that just to bring the angle a little more forward. You could put some wedges in if you wanted it to aim more downward. But really, you look at the price of repairing one of those Airstream panels. If you hit a branch, you know, you're into thousands of dollars in repair, and it happens all the time. There's hardly an Airstream out there that doesn't have a dent in it, and if it doesn't, it will have sooner or later. So this is the one part you really can't see when you're backing up, is higher up where the low branches are. You know, you're in and out of these national parks and everything else, and there's going to be tree branches, there's going to be tight corners, and it really helps to have that extra eye there. So as far as I'm concerned, I was not one that ever thought I would need this. I've been backing up trailers for 25 years. I consider myself pretty good at it. I don't care what size trailer it is, I can back it up. But this changed my mind. There's a lot of features in here that I think I'll use, and I'm sure I'm just going to learn more and more of them as I go. But it's really handy. I like it on the road to be able to see what's going on behind me, especially if you're driving a motorhome and you're pulling a car behind you. I mean, this, as far as I'm concerned, is a must-have. Now, other things. Let's think of some other things. What about if you're you know, you're carrying animals in a trailer, you have a horse trailer, something like that. You can mount this camera on the inside of the horse trailer so you can see what's going on with your horses as you drive. That's a fantastic feature to have. You know, I mean, you want to know what's going on back there. Maybe you want to see what's going on inside your trailer, so before you permanently mount it, just wire it into one of the light switches at the front of your trailer and, you know, have it film while you're traveling and see, you know, what's shaking, what's moving. There's just a, you know, as I keep thinking, I keep coming up with more ideas. And from inside, being able to monitor the outside of your trailer while you're sleeping at night. If you're in a Walmart, if you're in a park that has some wild, dangerous wild animals, you're up in Alaska, you know, it's that's another feature it has. So it's not just for backing up, is what my point is, which is what the first thing you're going to think is, do I need a backup camera? Well, just having that extra eye is really helpful. Now, there is sound with it, so like I said, you could hear people talking back there. You could hear what they were saying. It has night vision, so you can record at night in low light situations. You're still going to get an image there. And it records. So you can record, and I think it's up to 2 hours. You get a micro SD card, so it's got a built-in DVR. So you can actually record. So let's say you want to know what your dog's doing in your trailer while you're out. You know, you could leave the camera inside, point it inside, run this, and record him for a couple hours and see what he's up to. All sorts of great features you can do with this. And for the cost, I mean, it's almost a no-brainer. Now, there will be a link provided below. I'm not making a dime off this, so I'm in no way getting any money when you decide to buy one, but the link will take you to this camera and you can read up a little bit more about it. Certainly view some other YouTube videos. There's been several guys that have made videos on the same camera. Some of them are a little more in depth as far as the features go, but I just wanted to let you know, first of all, the quality that I thought we had here, how easy it was to install, the options that are available for your installation, and finally just how well it worked. And the quality of the picture, I can adjust the contrast, the brightness, everything's adjustable. The angle, if you want it left or right, if you want it upside down, whatever way you're going to have your camera pointing, you can manipulate your screen to show you that. And they do actually come in a bigger version than this. We got the little 5-inch screen. They do come in a 7-inch. So if you had a bigger rig, you know, you had a Winnebago where you have a lot of windshield already, then maybe you want the bigger screen, easier to see. So all in all, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I think it's a fantastic thing. It's not too often that I would give a review that high, where, you know, it's usually got something that I don't like about it. Haven't found anything yet. So really, I think it's a great little thing. Works fantastic. And think of the uses that you might need one for, and I think you'd be surprised if you do buy one. You're going to find you're using it a lot more than you think you were. So thanks again for watching, folks. So anyhow, thanks for watching. God bless. We'd love it if you subscribe. We'd love to hear your opinions on these things. All of our videos, we'd love some comments. So thanks very much. God bless and have a great day. Bye-bye.